Well, I would just say, I never thought I would actually be able to be sober and happy, and I am. So I would just say never give up, right? And therapy is, I would say, was the biggest part of me being able to get sober, dealing with things. So I would say don't give up, and give therapy a chance.
Welcome to Allow Yourself podcast. Here, we let go of labels and we allow the understanding to flow. No matter the gender, the faith, the political views, you belong in this conversation. You know why? Because we allow ourselves to listen. And when we listen, we grow. And today, we have a very special guest. His name is Josh Case, an energy consultant, entrepreneur, and co founder who turned his story of burnout and addiction into one of recovery and purpose. After decades of alcoholism and multiple rehabs, Josh rebuilt his life and founded Sober Buzz, a platform spreading the good buzz to destigmatize recovery and addiction. Now, with nearly 90,000 followers across 43 countries, he continues to inspire others to live life on life's terms. So let's welcome Josh Case to the show. Hi,
Thank you for
Josh.
having me today, Beatriz. Hey, we're happy to be here. Appreciate it.
It's for me a great honor, and especially knowing your story a little bit is really inspiring. And that's why I invited you to come and share with our audience that decision, because sometimes it's a decision that we have to make to really go through so much rehabs and so much therapies that you really come to yourself. Allow yourself to come to you. So that would be my first question. When you hear the sentence, allow yourself, what comes to mind?
Well, I think the first thing I think of is everything that was like holding me back and causing me to drink, because I wasn't drinking because I was enjoying it. I was using it as, to self-medicate, to escape thoughts in my mind. So allowing myself to be is not trying to hide from what's going on like I used to, you know,
To face it. You
to face
allow
it.
yourself to know the truth, to connect to yourself and to face it. Is that
Mhm.
the allow yourself? Just
Yes,
to be. Mm.
yeah, exactly. Like, when the last time I went to rehab last year, I faced a lot of the things that were haunting me from my past, like childhood trauma, things like that, and I dealt with those things. So I faced them, and the urge or the desire to drink or escape went away. That simplifies it, but basically what happened. Yeah.
We tend to we tend to look for our answers outside,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And alcohol is one of the answers that a lot of people get into, let's say, calming down the ghosts and the shadows that we have in our mind. So
Yep.
we go outside instead of allowing ourselves to listen to our mind or what it's going on. So what was the trigger that or the inspiration that allow you to really start listening to yourself?
Well, it was a combination of a few things, and like what comes to mind with what you're talking about there, looking to the outside. I used to always look to the outside for validation, external validation, and I learned how to validate myself and not need outside validation. I learned quite a bit about codependency, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and all the traps that you can fall into if you're not careful or even aware of what codependency is. You know, transactional relationships, people pleasing, expectations on all those things. Are all external. Uh, I was using to get external validation, and until I learned that how to and that I can validate myself, you know, that that solved a lot of problems for me. Not
Oh,
needing the outside validation.
the self validation,
Yeah,
it's like solve a lot of problems to you. And
yeah, solved a lot of problems.
yes, we are social creatures, right? And so we want to be accepted and validated, and even loved, if we want to put a word over there, but mainly accepted and validated and acknowledged, let's say it.
Yeah.
So one of my
And there's nothing
questions.
wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But I I took it to an extreme. That's where I got all of my validation. I I I had low self-esteem, so I wasn't able to uh validate myself, right? So it was all until I was able to validate myself. What other people were validating was fleeting, right? It didn't last.
It didn't fill the emptiness that you felt, right? It's like
Right.
a emptiness that if you don't self-validate, you can look outside validation over and over and over again, and even the alcohol tries to fill the bottle, let's say, and it doesn't, and it keeps empty. It has like a drainage, constant drainage. So my
Yeah,
question
yeah.
is. Mhm.
It's like whatever you put in goes right back out, right? And you just have to constantly feed it, and there's no end to it until you can get happy with yourself, or at least that's how it worked for me.
One of the questions that I have as a sober person, because I don't drink, I don't smoke,
No
never.
good.
Um, my father used to say that I don't take anything, not even advice. So in my teenagers, that what he used to say. Um, One of my questions is, what kind of validation you receive when you are drinking from outside? Is that a people pleasing? Is that a just to fit in, to belong to a group? Or what is the reason that you started? Because after it's an addiction, but you started somewhere.
Well, a lot of my drinking I did by myself, right? Like, I obviously drink at corporate events or, traveling with people and things like that. But, I drank every day. And when I drank every day, 90% of the time it was by myself, right? So it was, it was a coping mechanism. So I wasn't feeling uh, as bad about myself as I did, or but then I would end up, feeling bad about myself for drinking, right? It was like just a downward spiral. Like it never solved the problem. It just made problems worse, right?
Okay. So, what kind of pressure did you have from outside in order to come to your core and connect to yourself? Because there has to be a trigger there. Then it's
Right.
like, okay, stop. Okay, but how the people that are listening, for example, that drink, even socially, and alcohol is one of the addictions because it can be sugar, it
Sure.
can be food, it can be sex, it can be other things, right?
Yep.
Drugs or whatever. It's as you say, it's the feeling of an emptiness or that thing that we have inside, that everything, nothing stays, everything it's evaporates and leaves
Yeah.
ourselves fast. So what was your trigger, your inspiration, your turning point where you said enough and then start coming to yourself?
Yeah, so I mean, I tried to quit several times, over the last couple decades, and I did, for periods of time, but but I was always miserable, right? Um, Last year, before I went to rehab for the last time I went, I got arrested for the first time, and it was a big wake up call.
Hmm.
You know, like that I had been so successful, had everything, and I was just, throwing it all away. It really woke me up. I went to rehab. Um, at first, I was upset I was there. I upset with myself, getting myself in the situation I did. But then I started. I'm here for 90 days. I might as well try. Um, so I started, trying, and I got this book, Codependent No More. Learned about codependency, which changed my life. I thought the book was written about me. I learned how everything from all my relationships I was doing wrong, and it was causing me, I was creating my own hell, basically by, you
Hmm.
know, uh, you know, people pleasing, having expectations, transactional relationships, all that stuff. Um, and from there I dealt with traumas from my youth, if you will. You know, when I was 10 or 11, I was taken advantage of by a male babysitter. I had never dealt with that. It's one of the reasons I drank, because I would think about it every day, right? Obviously, I'm thinking about it now, but it's not causing me the the problems that it would cause me before, because I dealt with it. I learned, that it wasn't my fault. It was 10-year-old Josh. Stuff like that. Just ways to cope with it. I had a bad relationship with my father. Have no relationship with him now. That was something that was a problem for me most of my life, because I always tried to get his attention, or try to make him proud of me, and it never filled that hole. So I dealt with things through therapy. So I definitely believe in mental health, and therapy. um that that I would drinking was just my medication, right? Like, the real problem was the stuff that was bouncing around in my head, and I was able to deal with those things, at least to a point where, you know the 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 desire to hide or ignore went away. Hence, the desire to use or drink, went away, because I can tell you this, I feel a lot better now physically. I love the idea now that I don't wake up regretting what I may or may not have done the night before, or hurting people or things like that anymore. Of course, there's fallout from everything I've done that I'm dealing with people I care about, but, like, my worst day now, I think is better than my best day in my addiction. Um, I've got lots of problems. Nothing ever, things aren't everything's not great, but at least I'm I'm happy with myself, right? May not be
I
happy
can.
with everything. I'm happy with things, but I'm happy with myself. So,
uh, that's the beginning to start to be happy with other things, because if you don't are happy with you, so everything is through your eyes. But it's very important what you just said, because a lot of people that not drink like me, or drink socially, think that the alcohol is the problem, but really alcohol is the consequence. That it's it.
Yeah, and it can and it can add to the problem or create new problems, but it's
Yeah,
not
but it's
the
not the real problem. The
right.
real issue is not the alcohol and the
Right.
addiction. That's the cover up. That's
Yeah.
the cover up and the excuse, and it's very easy to blame, and it is really easy to look what Josh is doing to us, and because he's drinking. But when we allow ourselves to really acknowledge that that's the consequence and not the root of the problem, is when we really can heal it, or
Oh yeah, and
deal with it.
until I dealt with the root of the problem. um I thought I was never gonna not I thought I was gonna drink forever. I thought that, maybe there'd be periods of time I wouldn't drink, but because I'd done that before. not very well. But until I dealt with the root of the problem, there was no yeah, there was no hope.
Yeah, you cannot get out of that loop that, okay, I want to stop, I stop, but I did terrible things, I feel
Right.
guilty, and because I'm feeling guilty, so I will drink so I don't feel guilty. And
And then
then
then I feel guilty about that, or feel guilty about what I
yeah,
did, why I drank.
then you do something else
Yeah,
worse, and then you are in that loop, so until you
yeah,
don't cut it, and you don't, as you say, you don't allow yourself to feel it, acknowledge it, recognize it, and and take responsibility
right.
of your actions. That it's really, as you say, it's Josh 10 years old. It's not the Josh today. So that conversation, to talk to that Josh and bring them together and really face one on one, what happened to you, here I am to protect you, right? Is all that healing. And the arrest that you
Mhm.
had, uh, I put the word guilty before. I put the word, you didn't say it. I said it for you. I assume that that's the what you say. I have no problems. I call it challenges more than problems. No,
Yeah.
but today I'm more challenges than real problems. But what did you feel different when you were arrested? It was a different feeling, like
Yeah, well, I it was, what have I done to my life? I've destroyed my life. I At the time, I had never been arrested before. I didn't know what was going to happen. The charge was dropped. It didn't, it's gone now. But like in the moment, I'm like, I've ruined my life. Uh, so I went to a rehab that's like not a it's not let's say it's not a luxury rehab like I went to before. It was like a real serious you know mowed the lawn every day, cooked our own meals, had roommates. It was what I needed, or a humbling experience. I needed to be humbled because I had an ego, which is you know just it, it, your ego is trying to kill you, is a saying that in the recovery community, right? And my ego was trying to kill me. Like I didn't want help. I didn't think I needed help. Uh, but until I let people help, I was, that arrest really woke me up.
this ego that you say,
Hmm.
that it's like, um, I can do it by myself. That's also something that we are taught when we were kids also, and it's like the indoctrination that we have, or education, call it as the name you want, is it's like you have to know how to deal for yourself and be independent, and
Right,
it's, and asking for help is taught that it's a weakness. and
right.
uh, and when we grow up, we just correct me if, at least that's what I feel, but correct me if that's what you felt or not. It's like it takes a lot of courage to ask for help. It's
Yeah,
like, take that weight that we have, that we can do everything by ourselves, and then I'm a grown up, so I don't need to ask for help.
yeah,
It's uh, it's wrong. It's a BS concept, right? That it to ask for help, really, it takes a lot of courage and humbleness, and when we open that door, when we allow ourselves to open that door, can you tell me your experience? What happens when you allow yourself to ask for help?
yeah. So once I was able to do that, and then also accept responsibility, uh, a lot of my guilt and shame went away. Like I don't,
Wow,
I was
that's
really,
huge.
yeah, I mean, I was really good at blaming everybody else or blaming, this or that on whatever. Like, I blame my drinking on things, but I could have done something about it. Like I eventually ended up doing. But taking responsibility and I'll tell you this, taking responsibility for things I've done has been one of the biggest things in, getting internally validating myself. It just makes it the guilt goes away, and you just I automatically feel better about myself when I accept responsibility for things.
What does it mean for you to take responsibility? What I'm asking the question because of this. In the chapter 11 of my book that it's called Flip It Over,
Hmm.
it's called The Stories I Tell Myself.
Yeah.
And the idea is that the life that we live is the direct result of the stories I'm telling myself,
Right.
right? So when you take responsibility, what story do you start telling yourself?
Well, I start telling myself that, what the reality of it is, I make decisions on my own. Nobody can make me do anything, no matter what they do to me or say to me. So whatever my reaction is to something, uh, it's on me. I can't blame it. I can't say, oh, because you did this, I did that. That makes no sense to me anymore. I also understand, like, my feelings pass and I don't have to act on every feeling I have, right? Like my feelings don't control me either. So I can't say, well, I feel like this, so I did this. Like I can I can make decisions irrespective of what my feelings are or what other people do or say. Before I would always, say, hey, I did this because of what this because of that. Like, not I mean, I have total control over what I do.
That's amazing. It's beautiful because it's like um, what I call it is that my mind doesn't control me. I control my mind now.
And
So,
I never, and until I learned that or understood that, I thought my mind and me were the same thing. And it's not exactly
uh,
like that, you know?
it,
So,
it's so it sounds so easy, but it's so hard to incorporate that feeling that we are in the rush, rush, rush. We blame, we feel guilty. We everything is outside. There is nothing that I can control in my head. So once you take responsibility and you tell your mind what your decisions, the mind doesn't decide for you anymore. It's
yep.
like you don't react to this, don't say that, don't drink. I am the one in charge right now, right?
Now it's
So,
easier said than done because
oh, yes.
lots of times I'm like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to do anything. But eventually I'm like, I do exactly what I'm trying not to do, but I make that decision, right? Like,
Yeah, but yeah,
I make that decision.
we cannot heal in a week what 40
Right.
or 50 years of training we had in our head.
Right.
It's like really getting in control. But what happens here, if I am listening correctly, is that once you take responsibility of you controlling your mind, you have to set different kind of boundaries because
Right.
not only to
Well,
yourself.
yeah. I mean, like boundaries are something that I never really had before last year. Like I set boundaries now. There are things that I won't accept anymore. Like whether it's like just internally or externally with other people. And it it's uncomfortable at times to have boundaries or set boundaries, but ultimately I'm not I mean, one of my big problems was people pleasing and not having boundaries and doing things that I would later regret doing because I was unsatisfied with, whatever expectation I had. Like just being able to say no, which is about, is has been very helpful for me. I was horrible at saying no before. I'm not great at it now. It's not easy, but I'm getting better at it.
Right. It's so important, right? And it's no, it's a whole sentence, no period, right?
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
and yeah, but because we were good kids, okay, and we were good teenagers, we say yes to everything and we comply to everything that was asked for us.
Right.
But when we learn to set boundaries, we are protecting ourselves. It's not pleasing the others. Is where is the loyalty goes first? Because when we
That's a
are
good point. You another way to put it, yeah, you got to be loyal to yourself first, or you can't be loyal to anybody else, right?
yeah, when yes, the loyalty we are we were educated that the loyalty is toward the others. I have to please the others because he will get angry, okay? So I will say yes, so I won't get the other person won't get angry or they wouldn't like it. But then the loyalty is to the other person. I am
Right.
betraying myself
Right.
in order to just please the others. So, and another thing that we were really educated about is that if we say no, we are selfish, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's the guilt and the
that
shame and all that there.
yes. You know what? I never thought of it that way, but yeah, like if saying no to somebody, I would feel like I was being selfish. That's a good way
Yeah.
to put it. Yeah.
So my question is okay, because I we are allow myself. I walk the talk. Okay.
Yeah.
So I went through all those stages. I'm 63 now, but but one of the questions that with the guidance of a therapist, asked me if I need to do what the other person wants.
Hmm.
I have to quit what I want to please the other person. And if I don't do it like that, the other person gets angry. Who's the selfish here? That was the
Right.
question. Who's the selfish here? So it's like flip it over. That's I always back then started to flip everything over. So who's the selfish? Who's the selfish here? And one thing that I learned after I start practicing saying no and not pleasing the others, but being loyal to me, is that when I say yes, it has a lot more weight,
Hmm.
is stronger than when I used to say yes all the time. When
Right.
sometimes I say no, right? Your yes has much more meaning. It's like,
That makes
okay,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. So the boundaries is to protect ourselves. It's not really to separate the others or keep the others apart. Or
Right.
um, so, can you give me an example of something that you can really think that you're in the center and you won't allow any more to happen to you in these boundaries?
Yeah. So I mean, uh, like with everybody in my life, whether my kids, my ex-wife, my wife now, I very hard time saying no when somebody asks me if they can have something or do something. But over the last year, I've started to say no or not feel like not feel guilty for saying no, right? Like there's things that I need to consider for myself, right? So I would say that like in my closest relationships, I've been able to say no more than I used to.
Yeah, and saying no, it doesn't mean that you're rude. You don't
Right.
have to say rude. You don't have to be rude to say no. You can say, no, I don't feel like it now. Maybe in another occasion. No, I don't want to eat that. I feel like eating something else. It's um, like coming back to our childhood to start discovering who, the curiosity, who am I, right? Who am I? So, um, who are you without the alcohol, without the addictions?
Yeah, that is I've been getting to know myself in my little over a year sober, um, with a now that I have a clear mind, if you will, and getting all the stuff from the past that was haunting me. Obviously, that's an ongoing thing. I have a therapist I see still, but I think I'm still getting to know myself, right? And and what what makes me tick, right? Like and purpose, like one of the things that I found purposeful is like sober.buzz because there's a lot of people out there that are suffering that are alone, and you know it's been a tool for people to use, like a lot of other things out there. But I think it's an ongoing process for me. I've only been sober a little over a year, so
Life is an ongoing process.
yeah, it's a journey, right? I used to always think it how silly people call life a journey, but I actually understand what that means now. Uh, you know,
I
there's
love the name you put the foundation. It you get the buzz being sober, no? Sober
yeah,
buzz. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
Eh,
it's from the alcohol buzz. Yeah, that little play on words. Yeah.
yes, but it's beautiful. It's that remind me that when I met my actual husband and the family was here, went just through all the 10 plagues of Egypt, where everything happens, that I divorced, I lost the business, my father passed away, my mother passed away, and a penal, they framed me doing something, well, everything happened.
Yeah.
But when I discovered and I came, I was really free. So they put some music and I brought a chair and start dancing on top of a chair and in front of everybody, no, like so. My mother-in-law said, "Oh, this one doesn't need alcohol to get a buzz." Huh? So,
There you
so,
go.
so that no, I don't.
Yeah.
So yes, it's an amazing feeling, right? It's an amazing feeling that you can have the buzz, feel amazingly good, feel all that energy in your body, the tickling that happens with the alcohol, it happens without, and you
Well,
are
what's interesting is like I wasn't drinking for the buzz. I was drinking right through the buzz to like
wow,
the eventual blackout many a time, but like the just the I'm completely out of it. Like I'm not there, just uh blank space. Like the
wow,
buzz. Yeah, I was doing it to just escape.
anesthesia.
Yeah.
Yes, anesthesia.
Yeah,
It was like,
anesthesia. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Like the buzz was great for a few moments, but my goal was beyond the buzz.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. I had a one client that she's a wine. I don't know. You say it in English. The one that tastes the wine.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So she says, "Oh, this wine you drink for the flavor. You don't drink for the buzz." No. So it's like,
I
um,
wasn't drinking for the flavor or the buzz. Yeah,
yes, you were from the anesthesia. Okay, let's
exactly.
say, yeah. Okay. Oh, so it's even more a courage to go to completely know. It's to really get awake and see and start feeling absolutely everything because you were creating, you were drinking to not feel anything. So,
right?
yeah. So, talking about energy, your energy consultant in one way, in what way?
Yeah, so I built several energy companies, and the most recent one, Photosol US Renewable Energy, sold to Engie, the global Fortune 500 company. They bought it back in March of 2022, and then I went there and I was an executive until July of 2023. And that's kind of when my addiction really took over. And when I left NG, because I was able to just drink all day, and that's when my first two stints at rehab happened in the fall of 2023, and then my last rehab last summer. So I've been recently getting back into the energy business, and I've been doing consulting for a panel manufacturer, solar panel manufacturer out of India, and I'm looking at some other opportunities right now. But mainly renewable energy, like large scale solar projects with batteries out in the middle of nowhere.
So that's very good because that's very interesting because the real energy, not the real energy, let's say the outside energy, the solar energy and the, well, because in this world, okay, that we are talking about in the wellness and the health, energy is something else.
Yeah, yeah,
The energy comes within, right? Is the frequency that we were talking about and the energy that we have, and then the motivation energy that we have to do, and not what we need outside. So it's um, it's interesting to see what you think now after being sober, to see that energy and the energy we talk about when we
yeah.
are sober. Because when you're in anesthesia, you don't think about this kind of energy.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So,
So how do you see it now? How do
uh,
you see the outside energy, the solar and renewable? It's um, that business, I know, but now that you are in yourself, that's your business too. Eh,
right.
The sober bus, although it's a foundation, or I think, um, is also a company. Is also who you are now. So you have two kinds of energy.
Yeah.
One is being awake, and the other is the energy to make other instruments work.
Yeah, well, I would say the energy, like for me personally, and like for like Sober.Buzz, is I like helping people that have the similar issues that I have, because back when I had these issues, people were there to help me whether I wanted it or not, and everything anybody ever did, I think, contributed eventually to me getting sober. Maybe not right at the time, but eventually things built upon uh built upon and built upon until I got to where I'm at now. So yeah, I think that that's what I get energy is helping other people or being a voice, stigmatizing addiction, because it affects a lot of people. They say 12% of the population are alcoholics or addicts. So if 12% are that, most likely someone's related to somebody that has a problem, or know a loved one that has a problem. So like Sober.Buzz, it's for people that are alcoholics or addicts, in recovery or in addiction, but also those that support them. Like we have had people on the podcast that are sober, but they have a kid that's going through addiction, and they talk from they share their perspective, right? So it's it's there's something in it for everybody. I think that's what excites me about it. So
What
did
I,
I answer your question?
yes, yes. That's how you feed your energy here,
Yeah,
not only giving outside. Yes. Um, but what I'm hearing and what I'm getting of what you're saying is it's very deep. especially when you say that in the podcast, you have people talking about it, because I've seen a lot that the people that drink or they're in an addiction, they are not seen. They don't feel being seen. You feel like they're junkies and they have no value. And what you're doing, according to what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong,
Mhm.
is just seeing the person behind the alcohol or behind the addiction. There is a person there. Just
Yeah.
see the person is
Yep.
making that person being seen, and not only that, is giving them a voice to being heard, to allow themselves to say, yes, I'm a person, I'm struggling getting this out of my system, so, and I don't have the guts to ask for help. So
Right.
when you offer it, usually they don't want it until, you know, until they don't want it. You can be saying, hey, I'm here if you need me. Hello, I can give you help. But you're seeing, just to say hello, okay? I know a lot of people that are in addictions that people don't even say hello.
Mm.
To them, it's like ignore. They don't exist. I don't want them around. I don't want them close. So it's,
Well,
uh,
I think people that are like that, I know some, and like they don't understand addiction. They'd be like, Josh, just don't drink. Well, I mean that you don't understand like what's really going on, right? I wish it was, if it was that easy, I wouldn't have, right? So I think there's people that don't understand addiction are the type of people that I think you're describing, because they don't. I mean, nobody wants to like have a life that revolves around when they're going to be able to get high or drink. It's not fun. It's exhausting, actually. You know, it's exhausting.
okay. Uh, that does it happen? Did it happen to you that when you stopped drinking, friends or close people offer you a drink?
No, but when I stopped drinking, I basically just dr- I went to rehab. I got out of rehab, went to a place I didn't really know anybody,
Okay.
and then went directly to an IOP program, which is one 2 hours every night, for 12 weeks. Um, it's part of the aftercare program after leaving rehab, that some people do. So I was surrounding myself with people that were in recovery. So I wasn't really putting myself in that situation. But I can tell you this, I've lived above bars. I'm on the 21st floor of a building, but on the bottom floor are bars. And I can walk by those and not be tempted at all. Um, so uh, no one's offered me a drink that knows I'm sober. Um, I guess, and if I've been offered a drink, I've turned it down, right? Got like on an airplane or whatever, right? So
Yeah, that's a boundary.
yeah.
Okay, because there are stories of people that um, they are the reason in the family that everything goes wrong in the dynamic of the family, because he's alcoholic. Everything goes wrong because of him. Once he stops drinking, there is no one to blame.
Oh,
So
well, so I mean, I come from a family that with a narcissistic father, and I was always the scapegoat, right? And once I remove myself from the family, if you will, you
from the
know,
dynamic,
yeah, like I've heard stories of what goes on now. Um, people fill their time complaining about other people way too much, and I'm guilty of that too. But it it's it's pretty crazy,
Yeah.
if you will.
So what I was saying, that when you remove that person from the dynamic,
Mhm.
what do they do with the energy of who's the scapegoat now? It's not there, so they have to really start to deal with their own challenges and problems.
Right.
But sometimes in those dynamics, they offer the to drink, so you can bring the scapegoat back
Gotcha.
to fill the gap. That's why I was asking if that happened to you.
So
So
that has not happened to me. I haven't really been in a situation for it to happen. Um, but yeah, I will definitely keep my eyes peeled for that situation.
yeah, but
Yeah,
it's an awareness. That's why
yeah,
one of the main boundaries that you have to have is um, is that no, thank you, I don't drink
right.
anymore. Give me apple juice or give me water or don't give. Right. So it I don't drink, but it happened to me with food. Where
Yeah.
I was in a diet and I was
Oh,
trying
okay.
to lose weight, and my mom kept telling me, you need to lose weight, you need to lose. Although I was thin
Yeah.
when I was younger, but when I was in my 40s, so so I started really taking care of myself, and I went to my mom's house, and what did she have for me? Chocolate cake that I like, right? And so so I said thank you very much, but no, you can give me a cup of coffee. That's okay with me.
Yeah.
Says no, but one time it won't happen. It won't happen anything to you. It is just one time. Yes, I know that you want. So my explanation was really, I know that you want to spoil me, but and you take care of me. That's why you made the cake. But right
Right.
now I don't eat cake, so give me a cup of coffee. You can you can really help me much more, and I will feel really cherished like that with
Right.
a cup of coffee. But so it's not only with the alcohol, it happens
Yeah.
with the food, it happens with the sugar, it happens with other things too. So it's that temptation that people, nothing will happen to you, just one. That
Right.
it's when you are, I used to call it the universe testing me if I really learn the lesson. No, if I
Right.
really can stay myself and say no. Oh, this has been wonderful. Time flies. Is
Yeah.
there is there anything that you want to tell the audience, how you came back to yourself, or want something that you want to whisper like an advice to the audience?
Well, I would just say, I never thought I would actually be able to be sober and happy, and I am. So I would just say never give up, right? And you know, therapy is I would say was the biggest part of me being able to get sober, dealing with things that were the reasons I was drinking, right? Like at the end of the day. So I would say don't give up, and give therapy a chance. And
Beautiful. So
yeah,
if you that are listening to us want some guidance and want to reach Josh, um, you can go to LinkedIn, Josh
yep,
K. So you can go to sober.buzz and in social media, and you can ask him and ask for help or guidance, and don't give up.
yeah,
You
don't give
are
up.
worth, yes, you are worth to the best, for the best. We are all lights, and we have to allow ourselves to shine, because that's what we came here. We all have a purpose, we all have a mission. And just if you think that your light has been dimmed, you can really ask for help and guidance. Josh can address you in that way. So thank you very much, Josh, for
Thank
really
you.
opening your heart, sharing your heart with us. The journey that I know that it has not been easy, and it takes a lot of courage to be in the place that you are right now,
Appreciate that.
and and you shared your great wisdom with us today. So this is a powerful reminder that allowing ourselves to ask for help, to be you, to rest, isn't a one time decision. It's a daily practice of courage, of grace, of self trust, of decision making. For everyone listening, may you give yourself permission to take up your space, to rest, to begin again, and really to become what you're meant to be. So, thank you, Josh. See
Thank
you
you.
next time.